You said you interned with SEC.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Because there's so much noise on campus of Big Four, big accounting, and they're buying people Chick-fil-A and pizza parties. Like, how did they reach you or bubble up through all that noise?
So I really liked the show Suits, about attorneys, just being super shady. And at one point, they get in trouble with the SEC. And that just kind of piqued my mind about, oh, like I'm interested in forensics. I should go and look at what that is. And I just applied online and I got a call back. And that's it. That's how I got that internship. I did a single interview and they're like, at the end of the interview, they're like, come intern with us.
That's great. So you're at the SEC again after interning and then going elsewhere. You're back. What's your job there at the SEC?
Yeah, so I get to make auditors' lives worse. No, so at the SEC, we regulate public companies, and that includes the auditors that do it. And we also regulate just investments in general. And so a lot of my work is dealing with what we call offering frauds, which are when they sold the investment at the beginning, there was some sort of fraud. That means like
Mm.
Ponzi schemes, they're not telling you it's a Ponzi scheme. That's an offering fraud. So we're investigating Ponzi schemes. I'm doing the asset tracing, finding where the money goes. And then I'm looking at financial statements, audited financial statements, finding errors in them or getting tips from the public that, hey, something looks wrong here. And then we'll dig into that deeper. We'll call the auditor, we'll call the company, send subpoenas out, and just get them in for interviews and start looking at paperwork.
How did your internship at the SEC open doors for you?
Yeah. So if you ever get a call from the SEC as an auditor, you're going to respond, right? And so getting that internship at the SEC, that's just a name that the Big Four recognizes, that big audit firms, accounting firms, any accounting professional that's worked at a high level is going to recognize. And it also just showed I had the accounting skill set needed to, you know, review the work of the big audit firms, of the big accounting firms. And so just everywhere I applied to, even now, I still get asked about my internship, where I've had, multiple jobs on my resume, and that was my first internship in college.
Is that intimidating at all? Here you are. You seem fairly young to
Yeah,
me.
I'm 29.
Um, you're 29 and you're reviewing the work of the biggest professional services firms in the world, doing billions and billions of dollars of revenue. I would find that a bit intimidating. Like, how do you get over that hurdle?
Yeah, it's it's one of those things. You know how they talk about like your parents always say, oh, and a wild animal's just as afraid of you as you are of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of the situation you're in when you're talking with the auditors. Like,
Oh, I
you
got
know,
it.
I, I don't have like I'm talking to partners, obviously, regardless of where I'm at currently, like they're gonna have a really good handle on GAAP. They're gonna have a really good handle on the audit that they've done. They're gonna know more about the company. And I just have to recognize, I don't have to be better than them at this instance. I just need to know what they know and get their information. And so it's really just you look at the whole thing as a learning process and don't worry about what really is going on, I guess.
How's the work environment at the SEC? It looks like you are coming to us from home. I take it that's
Yeah,
not your
no, this
office.
is not my office.
So, do you get to work remotely? Is it a hybrid thing?
So it is 2 days in the office, a pay period is required, um, which means once a week, essentially, on average. And yeah, it's really flexible. It's really great. You have a ton of support from your teammates and your supervisors, all the way up to the national level. Like the DC office is super supportive. Us even out here in Atlanta in one of the mid-sized offices, I'm able to work from home with no complaints from my supervisors most of the time and move my schedule around as necessary. It's really supportive.
How are the hours?
Beat me to it.
So on the rare occasion I have to go over 40 hours, um, we get leave for every hour we work over that. So I
So
just
you
get,
work a couple extra hours and then you get to take that as paid time off
yeah,
later? Yeah,
Yep.
seems fair. How
Yeah.
much PTO do you get every year?
6 hours. Well, I don't know about a year, but it's 6 hours pay period, I think. So
So six every
whatever that
2
is.
weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'd have to do the math in my head, which I have learned not to do on this show because I'm inevitably wrong and it's very
Yeah. So that's
embarrassing. So,
like
um,
120-ish hours. Yeah.
cool.